The Christian aspect keeps coming up in all Willem Petzer's videos and content, even with the malformed idea of apartheid revisionism that fills a lot of his videos. This is sad because all he ends up doing, what the Bible calls one of the worst of sins a human can commit, which is the sin of calling evil good and good evil. Defending apartheid is both evil and completely unnecessary. If the point that gets to Willem and other Afrikaners is that now being an Afrikaner is equated with just apartheid, then I see that, because that is not all that it means to be an Afrikaner. Yet the strategy of saying you will defend apartheid is a mistake, because that helps and proves what people like the EFF keep saying, that the whites are just hateful and they all wish apartheid could come back. You make it easy for them to sell that when you defend apartheid the way that you do. And it has to be asked, maybe you do just hate all the blacks and want apartheid to come back. You're defending it quite enthusiastically. When you defend apartheid, you help the EFF sell that. That is all you end up doing when you call apartheid good, using techniques that seem clever in the echo chamber, causing the Afrikaner to then have to defend a very malformed idea that did not work, because it could not work, because it was evil. Defending it not only makes you a person who sides with evil, it forgets the biblical commandment to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Willem Petzer calls himself a Christian. Instead of being an apologist then, as we are supposed to be as Christians, the justice and goodness of God and that theology, Willem Petzer and others who choose apartheid revisionism, who take on this idea of apartheid revision and call themselves Christian, have become apologists rather for apartheid. This has become their religion. And they have turned themselves and the love for their people into an idol, superseding Christian theology and God's command. And that results in spending your time justifying apartheid and calling evil good and good evil. If you're not a Christian apologist for that word, for that way of thinking, and you become an apartheid apologist, you become someone who offers a defense, a justification, or an apologia for the system of apartheid. It's a political apologia, specifically historical revisionism, justification of intent, and the minimization of the system's human impacts. While Willem Petzer often explicitly states that he is not defending the system, his public discourse, though, frequently aligns with the technical characteristics of being an apartheid apologist in several ways. First, the historical revisionism and intent. A core feature of being an apologist is the attempt to reframe the intentions of the ideology to make them appear more moral and pragmatic than they are generally understood. The verwoed rhetoric. Petzer has frequently engaged in discussions, such as the one he had in 2025 in an interview with Gareth Cliff, where he argues the official story of apartheid has been weaponized. He often revisits the original intentions of Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of Grand Apartheid, to try and sugarcoat apartheid. Separate development. Technically, an apologist often reframes apartheid not as a system of racial oppression, but as a separate but equal developmental strategy, the Bantustan or homeland system that was intended to protect various cultures, is the sort of thing Willem would say. Petzer's arguments regarding the real purpose of these policies align with this technical form of defending apartheid. Minimization and comparison. If you're going to be an apartheid apologist, it often involves shifting the focus from the moral failings of a system to its perceived benefits, or comparing its favorability to a subsequent regime to minimize its severity, such as in Bantu education. Petzer has challenged the historical consensus on Bantu education, suggesting it was more effective or less malicious than history records. In a technical sense, justifying a cornerstone of the apartheid system by highlighting its unseen positives is a form of being an apologist and agreeing with apartheid. And then he goes to the comparison to the ANC By highlighting the failures of the current ANC government, he often creates a narrative where the previous era is viewed with a degree of nostalgia and pragmatism, which serves to soften the historical record of apartheid. Then he will focus on white victimhood. Contemporary apartheid apologists in South Africa often center on the white genocide narrative. This has been widely discredited by AfriForum and others that white South Africans are being targeted for extermination. This serves as a diversion strategy. By focusing almost exclusively on modern threats to Afrikaner identity and safety, this rhetoric serves as a technical diversionary apologia because it reframes the white minority from historical oppressors to current victims, which is a way to bypass the truth of what apartheid was and of the apartheid era in general. That's what Willem Petzer is doing. And he's using the tragedy of the crimes being committed on farms to do it. This is wrong.
If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
If apartheid revisionism or apartheid apologists is defined as someone who provides a rationalization or defense for the ideological components of apartheid, Petzer's work fits the technical definition, just like the apartheid regime meets the technical definition of fascism. His defense of Verwoerd's intentions, his revisionism regarding Bantu education, and his use of separate development logic all constitute a formal apologia for the system's foundational principles. Petzer himself usually frames these arguments as historical truth-seeking or exposing propaganda, allowing him to technically distance himself from the label while simultaneously advocating for the logic that supported the system. Not Christian. This is not Christian behavior. Stop covering yourself in the church, Willem. Just choose. Be a real Christian or hoe your beck on Christianity. Rather do this and don't cover yourself in the church then. Your politics are your own business. Please do not shame the name of Christ by calling evil good and good evil. I pray for you, Willem. You seem like a good oak.
Thank you for listening. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?